Hello everyone. Today in this video we are going to discuss about what is RDS and how can we create a database in the AWS by using the RDS. And also we will check how can we access the relational database in the AWS. Before going to start that, I created a dedicated GitHub repository to this playlist. From the day 1 till today I uploaded each and every service from the AWS IAM, and I created a separate notes for the each service where we can get about what is the service and why should we use one service. And in the end I also provided a few scenario based questions which actually gives a better understanding of the particular service. For the every service I created the notes same like architecture and the scenario questions and few interview questions. Please like this video, share the video with your friends and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. The AWS Aurora and RDS is about creating a relational database. To create the database, we need to go to databases and create database. When we are creating any database, there is two types. One was full configuration and another one is easy create. If we select the easy create, then we need to select the type engine. We need to select the engine type and then the cluster name or the DB name, and everything it can be automatically created by the AWS. But if we click on the fully configuration, everything we need to set up from the auto backup to creating the user password and everything. I will show you what exactly available in the full configuration of the DBS. And here are the engine types. We need to select which database operating system or which engine type we have to use in our database. I am going with MySQL. After selecting the engine type, it will ask for the engine version. The previous versions also available and the latest versions till 5.7.44. I am choosing 8.4.3. And next we need to select the templates. Templates are about like which environment we want to use this database. If it is in a production system, then the availability and the durability will be high, like it will be created 3 instances. One is the primary and another 2 are standby, which is actually gives 99% uptime, and if the primary instance goes down, it can be accessible by the standard database instances. Or if we selected dev or test, then we can select the multi availability zone, and in this we will only get 2 instances. One is primary and another is standby. For the sandbox, we can only select single availability zone DB instance and it will be available only on primary instance. There is no redundancy for this database. I am selecting sandbox environment, and here we need to provide the database demo DB1, and we need to provide the master username. When we are connecting to the database by using the endpoint of this, we should use this master username. We can leave it as admin, or we want to change, we can change. And the credential manager, we need to provide the password, whether it is in a AWS secret manager, or we can also select the self-managed. Then we can give the password, master password demo 3. It should be 8 characters. No. After we need to select the authentication type, which authentication type we want to access this database, whether it is in a password authentication or password and IAM based authentication, or another type was password and authentication. We can choose password authentication. And the instance configuration, here we need to specify what type of instance class we need to select the database. For the sandbox environment, we can select only burstable classes. These are very minimum requirements of this database. It's like only 1 GB RAM and 2 vCPUs. Or if you select any production or something, then we can change the standard classes to, like we can get around 8 GB RAM and 2 vCPUs. These are like optimized database instances. Or if we choose the memory optimized, then we can get the maximum memory up to 16 and 32 GB, keep on increasing. If you want to memory optimized instances, then we can select the R classes. Purpose, we are selecting sandbox and we can select only T3 micro. And the storage type, we can select which type we want, whether it is in a GP3 or GP2. And the storage size, that should be minimum of 20 GB. We can increase if you want, or we can leave it as default. And in the additional settings, we can keep the maximum threshold of the storage if you want, otherwise we can leave it. And the connectivity type, like if we want to connect this database to any EC2 instance, then we can select the connect to EC2 compute resources. And then we have here we need to select the instance to which EC2 instance we want to connect to this database. I'm not going to connect to any EC2 instance. And the network type, whether it is IPv4 or the IPv6. After that, we need to select the VPC, in which VPC we want to host this database instance. And the public access, if you want to make this database private, then we should select no. If you want to accessible by the public, then we can select the public access S. And the security groups, we can select the existing that was given. And the availability zone, I'm choosing 1A. And in the additional configuration, it will tell the port on which port it actually accessible. That was 3306. This was the default port of Postgres. We actually selected the MySQL, actual port, default port of the MySQL. And in the last additional configuration, we can select the backup, and it was automatic. It will automatically take backup after one day. And this is the main advantage of the RDS, which is fully managed by the AWS. So every day it will take a backup of this RDS. If you don't want to take the backup of this instance, then we can uncheck the enable automated backup. Or if we want to take backup, then we can enable. Now if we click on the create database, database will be created. It will take a couple of minutes, like 3 to 5 minutes. Once this database was created, then we can access this database by using the endpoint that was created to this database. I'm not going to create the database now. I hope you understand about the databases and how we can create the RDS in the AWS. And the another thing was snapshots. If you want to take snapshot for any database, we can click on take snapshot, and the available DB instances are shown here. And then we need to select the DB that we want to take snapshot. Snapshot is like taking the backup of the particular DB instance. These are all about This is about RDS in the AWS. If you found this video helpful, please give a like, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching this video.